Can everybody hear me? I see that there's people have been waiting here for a while. Somebody give me a yes, I can hear you, and it's not echoey. Nobody's talking. I hope people can hear us.
Turn the volume up and then you can turn it back up.
Can you guys hear me? No? Oh, okay, good. There you go. Thank you. Kelly, how I roll. That's your name, right? Kelly? First name, Kelly? I think. I need to get like a wall with like subscribers and then what their actual YouTube name is and then what their actual name is. Because I'm pretty terrible. Too echoey? Hang on. Or not too echoey. Is that better? No more echo?
This sounds nice and clear.
Oh, it does sound nice and clear?
Hi, everybody.
Is it still nice and clear? Okay.
How many times
Oh.
did you be told?
Well, I just don't want to, I can't hear myself like as if they're hearing me. So, okay. Anyway, welcome to my party. I made myself a cupcake. Are you going to get your beer? Because that's real life.
Yeah.
If he's celebrating, he's going to have a beer. He has it. He like hid it behind the camera. Like we have to pretend we don't drink on YouTube. I don't drink. He does. I eat homemade cupcakes with goat cheese icing and
Hey, Jackson.
I should turn my phone off. All kinds of weird things going on my phone. I should turn my phone completely off. Oh, it is off. Okay. So I'm going to wait for people to ask questions. If you guys have any, you're welcome to ask them. You know me, nothing is off limits, but I did bring a couple of stories just in case nobody has any questions, which is always like, you know, I hope people do, but if you don't, that's fine. So I thought I would start with how I became a YouTuber, because after all, that it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yep. 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock here.
Yeah, somebody just commented it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? It is 5 o'clock here. So if you're somewhere else, I know there were some people that wanted to join that it's like midnight and different things like that. So boo, I wish everybody could be in the same place at the same time and, you know, not be tired. But anyway, so I thought I'd start with how I became a YouTuber, just because I've never really shared that story on YouTube before. And then I have a couple other stories that I can share. And we'll see if you guys have questions. Feel free to shoot them at me and I will answer them. So how I became a YouTuber. I actually became a blogger first for 4.5 seconds. I wanted to help people in wheelchairs, and I read blogs a lot, so I thought I would be a blogger. And I took a course on how to be a blogger and watched a bunch of things on how to be a blogger. And I started a website and started writing blogs. And then a few of the blogs, I needed to show how I actually did something. And I was like, this is really hard to write about. And one of them was how I organized my supplies. So that was sort of the first thing that I did that I was like, this is really hard to show in pictures. So I took a bunch of videos and put some of the snippets in that blog, but I was like, this would be so much easier if it was just a video. So then I was like, I'm going to do it as a video. But I didn't start then because I was like, I'm too scared to be a YouTuber. I'm too scared to put my face in a video because I say and aw and like and all the things like you guys know. So I didn't want to do it. I was too scared. And then I took this, who knows who Tony Robbins is? I'm sure everybody does. I have a friend who's really big into Tony Robbins, and I took a challenge of his with her. And one of the things that I had to do in that challenge was do something that I'd been afraid to do for a really long time. So I started my blog, and it was probably 4 months into my blog that I was like, I think video would be easier. And then it was like another 4 months after that, or 5 months after that. It was probably even longer than that. Because who knows? Anybody else watch Pro Tips for Paras? Who watches Pro Tips for Paras? Anybody? Give me a thumbs up in the chat, or a 1 or something like that if you watch Pro Tips for Paras and you know who she is. Well, she's another YouTuber, and I waited out of fear to start my YouTube channel for so long that she started hers first, and I didn't know her in person before she started her YouTube channel. And then I turned YouTube on and I saw her first video about her injury, and she was a T6. Oh, yay, somebody does. Chris says he watches Pro Tips for Pairs. She's actually a friend of mine because she's a really good friend of one of my other friends. And so I met her later on in person, but I didn't know her at the time. And I remember saying, Joe, look, this girl started a YouTube channel. She's doing everything I wanted to do. And I was like so devastated about it. And then after that, this Tony Robbins challenge happened. And I had my welcome or my intro video recorded for like weeks. And I was too afraid to just publish it because I thought, I don't know, nobody even watches like your first video. I don't know why I was so afraid to publish it, but I was. And so the thing that I had to do was publish this video, the thing that I was afraid to do. So I pressed play. And then after that, I just committed to not stopping. And I had to make a video pretty regularly after that. So I committed to once a week. And every once in a while, I missed, a week or two here and there if there was something going on. But that's how I became a YouTuber. And once I realized that talking to a camera is way easier than writing, I was like, I'm not looking back. There's a lot of challenges that come with recording videos, but for me, writing takes a long time because I'm constantly worried about what I'm going to say. And so I was just like, screw that. And you guys don't mind me saying like and all the things and rambling and doing all the things that I normally do. Ask Joe, I am long-winded. He's like,
your written word is really good though. She agonizes over it forever and ever and ever, but it comes out like professional. So
yeah, it takes me so long because I'm so worried about it. But yeah, so I like video much better because it's okay if you screw up and say and in between every other word, and it, people just accept it. So that's how I became a YouTuber. And I realized also, not that this is important to me, but YouTube is way easier to monetize. So blogging, you can monetize with ads, but they changed the rules and somebody actually has to click on the ad. And as a YouTuber, you get paid for the amount of minutes collectively that people watch ads. And so it's a little bit easier to monetize. I don't make anything off of it. Once I'm a big YouTuber and I have so many subscribers, maybe I'll make some money. But at least I get paid for I kind of break even with, the things that I need in order to run a YouTube channel. So at least I'm doing that because the first year I was going backwards and Joe was like, really? But it was helping people. So it was rewarding to me. And that's still the best part. I love getting to know people. If you're not on my email list, go to my website, sign up for my email list. It's always in the description of my videos, the link to. I'm fun, I promise. I write fun emails. At least I think I'm fun. Okay, so there is a question so far that I've seen. And
I've been writing on that.
You can click on it. You can click on it.
Well, I just felt that way you wouldn't have to scroll through it.
It is
participating.
Good. It is good that I want you to do it, then I can find them. Who does the grocery shopping, or do you do online grocery shopping? We both do, depending on.
No, for the most part, Brittany does it.
Yeah, but you don't grocery shop. I'm just saying, I just don't want to make it sound like I'm the only one who ever grocery shops. If I call him and it's more than 10 things, he's like, I'm out. He hates grocery shopping for more than 10 things. So I generally grocery shop, and thankfully I have older kids now. So if I need a big grocery shop, they will come with me. But a lot of the times I just go by myself, and I have a few friends that push carts, which, all power to them. But I'm a put everything on my lap and fit as much as you can, and then get to the till, and people are like, how in the hell did you fit all this in one basket? Because I can't even fit it in one grocery box thing to get it out to your car. But I can pile it up to as
Have you
as
ever
high...
shown like the bags that you use though?
I don't know. I've never done a specific grocery shopping video.
I think you have actually.
I did a grocery.
I think it was in the early.
No, I did a grocery shopping video, but it was in part of the "This is what I eat in a day." So I did "This is what I eat in a day," and part of that was grocery shopping. But I didn't do a, start to finish grocery shop. Maybe I'll do a video like that. Would anybody be interested in a grocery shopping video? It's hard for me to to show you guys accurately what I do by myself when I'm by myself. So it always has to be like a mock. I'm by myself, pretending to be somebody else is holding the camera, which, you know, it's always weird in a grocery store too, because I'm used to filming myself when I was in the airport, when I went to Vancouver. There was a ton of people around and I'm okay filming because I'm not weird about it. But my family is still kind of weird about it when they pull out a camera and we're like grocery shopping. People are looking at us and stuff. So I might do a video like that if I can convince somebody to come and hold the camera the entire time. But generally, I have fold up grocery boxes. I have a basket on my lap. When I get to the grocery store, I pile up stuff literally until I can't see anymore. And I'm looking like over the side of the basket. And then I go to the till and I have somebody help me out. And then when I get home, I sometimes have to carry those 2 or 3 grocery boxes by myself. And I'm good at telling the people at the grocery store to even out the weight distribution so that I can lift it. Because if they put all the heavy stuff in one, then I can't get it out of the car. So I'm good at advocating for myself that way. So yeah, grocery shopping is usually me and my kids. Is there another question?
Mm-hmm.
Are you afraid? I'll try and find that one. Yeah, baskets on the lap are the best, Chris. Yeah.
Go up. It'll be before the grocery shop.
Do you want to know why his beard looks so good? You should go get the thing. This
Why?
isn't. I'm just gonna tell them the product that you have. Yeah. This isn't like sponsored or anything, obviously. I just want to show you guys what I got him for Christmas. It's called, it's just a heated beard brush, but it's the Beard Struggle. The Beard Struggle. It's like a website all about beards, and I got it. And it's just like a straightener that heats up essentially with like, but he is pretty anal about his beard.
Except all the gray that's coming.
And this is probably not politically correct, but I'm gonna say it, or this is probably rude. I don't even know. I say he's getting Amishly. Amish people have long beards, and when it gets like too bushy, it's like an Abe Lincoln thing. I'm like, you gotta rein it in. And his mustache gets too long, so we have a whole thing that he's only allowed to go so far. How long it gets and stuff.
Okay, so scroll up because you missed the one about the shoulder.
I did.
Yeah. Keep going.
I don't know how people monitor these things when you get like a bazillion people. Like, how do you do this? Hi, Blind Advocate. I did get your email, and I'm super busy right now, so I promise in the future we can connect, and you can interview me. I just am really busy right now, so I haven't had any time to do extra things. Okay, one of my best friends has been in a chair, and his shoulders and hands are so badly damaged from pushing for 40 years. Do you fear the same thing? Yes. The short answer is yes, I fear aging. I'm not, I guess I'm not like terrified of it, but I do fear aging because I just see what's happened to friends of mine if they aren't careful. So I think I make choices based on my age and how long I want to be able to get myself off the toilet. I always tell people that I would rather be able to wipe my own ass and get myself on and off the toilet and into the shower for 90 years than play all the sports in the world or drag my chair in and out of my vehicle. So I pick and choose the things that I'm going to do with my shoulders. I don't lift anything heavy over my head. So if I'm lifting weights or anything, nothing above 8 pounds goes up like in a, what is this? I don't know what that is. I can't think of it. You're supposed to help me out here. Whatever. Lifting weights over
shoulder press?
Shoulder press. That's what it is. Thank you. Where were you? Just sitting there making me look dumb.
Giving you the opportunity to pull it out.
Giving me the opportunity. Do you know me by now? A shoulder press. So if I'm doing like shoulder press or something, I don't do anything over 8 pounds just because a physio told me that a long time ago that I should never do anything over 8 pounds over my head. So I don't. And then, yeah, like I choose to have a lift in my van so that I'm not lifting my wheelchair in and out. The things that I would normally be doing that really wear and tear my shoulders, I choose not to do. Getting myself on and off the toilet is one quick lift, and it is in a position that doesn't really put my arm out far or anything like that that's going to hurt the joint. So I feel like that's okay. But yeah, I do fear aging, and I actually just got some shoulder exercises from one of my subscribers. He just happens to be a retired tennis player, and he showed me some shoulder exercises. So I'm going to do them for like a solid month to see how I feel after them. But if I like them, I'll put them in a video just so you guys can all see the shoulder hygiene things that he taught me. And he should know, he's a tennis player, so he's probably had lots of experience with wear and tear on his shoulders. Did you see any other questions?
Well, no, those are the only two that were up.
Wing it. You do great. I do great winging it. I'm like the worst at planning anything.
Can she write with frog fingers?
Oh my God. Somebody, like, I am not embarrassed to like make fun of myself at all, but my frog fingers are freaking hilarious. I can't even like, how do I do this? There's the camera.
Your fingers, anyway.
They're giant, and I hate texting because I just mash everything with my freaking thumb fingers, and it's the worst. But I can't write. You guys are hilarious. Can I write with frog fingers? I love that you guys know things about me. That's one of my favorite parts, is having people that watch me that pick stuff up. Like somebody was like, we should do a drinking game for the times that you forget to turn the camera on, and do like a monologue and forget to record, and the times that your garbage is in the background, which I put it away today. I almost left it out just, because that's me. But so it was funny. I laughed so hard at that comment because there's so many things that are so me, like saying like a million times. Okay. Where? I'm trying to read all your comments, and I apologize if I'm just like not looking at you guys all or doing.
Your email reminder said mountain time.
Yeah, it is mountain time. Yeah, it's mountain time. I'm in mountain time. My email reminder said mountain time. It wasn't, Ryan, I did do a small segment in a store. Ryan was just commenting that he seemed to remember that I did a small segment in a store. Hey, Rick, how are you? We're going for coffee in June. I don't use electric carts at Costco just because I don't have anywhere to put my wheelchair. And to be honest, I feel weird with a larger footprint anything, like getting around.
You take up enough space in the grocery store without the big wheel.
He won't go grocery shopping with me because he thinks I'm inconsiderate. And
oblivious is the word.
Now he's saying it in like a nice way, like he doesn't call me inconsiderate.
Oblivious is nice.
Well, oblivious means that you don't mean to.
Yeah, but that's what it is you don't mean to be in people's way. You just have tunnel vision and you don't pay attention to the fact that you're taking up the center of the aisle and stuff like that.
I think my eye line is just always lower. So I don't know. I feel like I'm dodging people's legs and carts and things like that all the time, and I'm not looking up. Our neighbor saw me in the grocery store the other day and said, I said hi to you 4 times and you never saw me.
Oblivious.
And then so I think it's just, I'm like, maybe it's just oblivious. I don't know. Yeah, but he doesn't go grocery shopping with me because then I can be oblivious all by myself.
I will, just not in Costco.
I have this notion that everybody loves me. So even if I'm in the way, I'm always like, everybody loves me. I make so many friends in the grocery store, and it's probably because I'm being an asshole. And then somebody is like, oh, excuse me, sorry, because I'm going to run into them. And then I start talking to them.
So that was the question.
Okay. He's picking out all the questions. Good job. When you cath on a plane, do you always get to the bathroom or sometimes in your seat? If in a seat, how? And if the bathroom is too small, cannot close the door. Okay, so in a plane, I would pee just, if I had to sit in my seat, I would pee just like I do in my car. I would just scooch to the edge. It's weird if there's other people there.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to think if I've ever actually peed in my seat in a plane.
Not with me there.
know. It would be similar to peeing in my car, which I just scooched to the edge
of. All the time.
Yeah, and so I'm not afraid. I would never be afraid to pee in an airplane seat. This last time that I went on a plane, they stopped me right in the middle, and I was like, "Uh-oh, what if I have to pee?" Because they did not have an onboard aisle chair. So, yeah, I think I peed in a seat once when I went to Salt Lake City. I think I did there, but I think I was in the front row by myself. Yeah, that's when it was. Yeah, I did it once when I went to Salt Lake City, and I was in the front row by myself, because there was just not that many people on the plane, so it wasn't super awkward. I just put my coat over my lap and peed into a whole bag thingy, like the Coloplast compact set, and then I just had like grocery bags and I like tied it up, and it was just garbage. I gave it to the stewardess. She took it, didn't know what it was. So yeah, I just scooched my butt to the edge of the seat and I cat that way. Because if you've never seen that video, go watch it. I have a zipper in the crotch of my pants, so I don't have to take my pants off or anything. So I just literally scooch to the edge. My legs kind of flop open, and then I can open the zipper in the crotch, and then I pee that way. But if I have to go to the bathroom, I've transferred once, twice, because there was once there was a toilet right beside the door, which was fine. I got in there okay. And then the flight to Phoenix, when I went with Melissa, with my cousins, she lifted me in, and then he's lifted me in the bathroom before. Or no, that time I transferred almost. That's the time. So I transferred twice. Once when the toilet was closed. Once when it was 180 degrees, and I was like falling, and my cousin had to kind of rescue me, but she just kind of gave me her arm, and then I used it to transfer the rest of the way. And then in other times, he's put me in the bathroom, and I always just pee into the SpeedCath compact set things that are like a whole bag in one, and I just throw it in the garbage, which I don't know, that might be gross, but I always just do that so that I'm not peeing in the actual toilet. Because the one time I did that with my catheter, I was trying to see, because there's no water in an airplane toilet. If you've ever peed or not peed in an airplane toilet, there's no water in it. And so I was cathing, and I had my pants on because I have a zipper in the crotch. So I was just cathing into the toilet, and I couldn't hear when I was done peeing. So I like looked in between my legs, and I was like pulling the catheter forward and then like bending it backwards so it would go backwards into the toilet. But what I didn't know is that the pee was all going on my butt, on my pants. And so as soon as I was finished peeing, I just had a soaking wet butt full of pee. And there was no point in me going to the bathroom in the airplane. So I always pee into one of those things so that never happens again in a plane. And I'm super paranoid about it. So yeah, airplanes are really annoying. And basically it's a means to an end. I hate flying because I'm nervous about it, terrible at it, and have to pee in between. Fear not aging. Adaptations are there. And I'm hoping that I always think about, people that were paralyzed in like the 40s, 50s, 60s, and how much has changed in that amount of time, like just till 2000. So I always think, like, when I'm 65 or 70, what's the world going to look like? I'm really hoping that Elon Musk is going to get the Wi-Fi for your brain thing. Whatever. I don't know. The Neuralink thing, it's like Wi-Fi for your brain to your spinal cord. I think that's what it is, at least how I understand it. What, you don't want that? You just like me paralyzed?
My tinfoil hat doesn't like that, no.
Oh, I get it. Your tinfoil hat. Conspiracy theorist. No, I'm just kidding. I hope I didn't offend you about frog fingers. Absolutely not. I have the worst frog fingers ever, and I think it's hilarious. And I embrace all of my weirdo things. At one time, I might have been afraid of it. I'll tell you though, when I was younger and I was like a teenager, I was worried about it because I saw all these girls with like dainty little fingers, and I was like, why is my thumb like a toe? And I didn't want to, like, whenever I held boys' hands,
frog fingers,
I would make sure, like, if I was like holding hands like this, I would like I would always like somehow like stuff I didn't want to like them to see my finger. I thought I looked weird, but let's see. How do you handle things?
How did you skip so far?
Did I skip far?
Yeah, big time.
Okay. I'm terrible at this.
Well, it's because you refuse to use a mouse. Stubborn as all get out. Doesn't matter if it'll help her or not. She'll refuse to do something if I suggest it.
Are you doing anything for Mother's Day? Actually, I just complained about the gift Joe got me for Mother's Day, like I always do. He gave it to me early, and he spent too much money on it.
It's not from me. It's from the kids. I get my own Mother's Day gift. Oh,
okay. He bought it, gave it to the kids, and they gave it to me. That's how it works. The kids probably like, what? It's Mother's Day? I don't even know that.
Yeah.
But
keep going up.
We're gonna be at my acreage for Mother's Day. So Joe bought a projector with a projector screen so we could watch.
So this is where we left off, and you went way down to the bottom.
Okay, sorry.
Hey, I got kudos for the bathroom.
Yeah, there was a bunch of comments about that. Anyway, we're gonna be at my acreage camping. Well, driving home from there. Do you ever get sores on your legs or feet that just appear? If so, how do you prevent them? I do get sores sometimes because I can't feel if I bonk my leg or accidentally scratch it. And I don't really do much to prevent it other than always make sure my feet are on the foot plate. I'm totally always consciously aware of where my feet are when I'm transferring. Cannot stress that enough. I always make sure I know what angle my feet are going to be when I transfer so that they don't end up in a wonky place. This morning, I just whacked my knee on the shower, like the edge of I don't know what it is, like where the door shuts into. And my leg was like the track. It was like vibrating for a while. And I was like, oh, that probably hurt so bad. But I don't have a bruise or anything. But yeah, I randomly get things sometimes. I'm so hyper aware. Ooh, I just touched my cupcake. I'm so hyper aware of my feet because one time when I used to wear sandals all the time in the summer, which I don't do as much, and we had a lake lot that had gravel everywhere, I was wheeling and I didn't notice my foot was off my foot plate. So it was like dragging while I was wheeling. And then I had like a cut and I didn't even notice it probably. I don't know how long it was there because it was like slimy. It's gross. And like my skin was like a flap, like it was so gross. So I'm super hyper aware of where my feet are now because that incident scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh my God, that was gross. Ah, what happened? My camera does this. That's what it does. There. I know. It stops recording after 30 minutes, which is so annoying. Okay. What else? I'm going to go down. Jamie looks just like Joe. She does look just like Joe, which is so unfortunate because I birthed her. Not unfortunate. You're good looking. I'm not saying unfortunate that way. I'm just like, I thought when I had a girl in my belly, I'm like, this one's mine. She's going to look just like me. And then she comes out and all the nurses are like, she looks so much like her dad. And I'm like, asshole. Did you finish Jamie's stocking? No. It's a no. I might just never finish that thing. I might just throw all of them in the garbage and then buy new ones. Probably not, but where did I get the cushion on my shower chair? It's called an active gel pad. And I just got it at a local vendor. So did I say active? Action gel pads. They're like, yeah, they're action gel pads. That's what they are. And you can get them anywhere. Just go to a mobility store and ask for action gel pads. And I have the cube pad. So see, Ryan is oblivious too. Ryan says that he has that problem too. And he doesn't notice other people sometimes. So I'm not alone. Tunnel vision. See, Elizabeth says she has tunnel vision. See, I'm not alone.
But it's not specific to wheelchair users. People do it on the road all the time.
I did that. Now I went.
How many drivers have you been beside or behind that have no clue what's going on around them. Just straight in front of them. My lane's the only thing that matters.
Sorry, not that kind of show. And they're ugly. I don't get why people like paralyzed feet. They're like sausages. They're yucky. I have some friends that have nice feet. I went shopping. If any of you have been watching my channel, you know Crazy Brian. My friend Crazy Brian. He went shopping with me for the Junos, and I put on a pair of. We were both like, yes, let's get sandals with things that lace up your leg. It's gonna look so nice. It's gonna be awesome. And I put it on my feet. We were both like, nope, this is not a sexy leg. So it was funny. So now I'm like, toes can show, but not the rest of it. I used to wear sandals all the time, but it still looks.
I don't get that one. What's that about?
That's the guy who has to see. Oh, a castle called home. Strange. Why? What? Now I'm confused. What's strange? Context. Yeah, me either. I have to go see what. Can you show your bare feet? Oh, strange. Why? He's just saying because he asked to see my feet, and Brian's saying strange. Why? Well, while we're on the topic, lots of people want to see bare feet of paralyzed people because they're devotees and they have a fetish for people in wheelchairs. Male or female, they just like things that are paralyzed, and your feet are dangly little limbs that they think are attractive. So, no, I'm not going to show my feet. I'm sorry. I have a shoe video though, and if you probably watch all my videos up the algorithm, you'll see my feet sometimes. So, Chris says he just wants to say thank you for my videos. I learned so much. And he's now finding wheelchair life easier. That's my whole goal. I found wheelchair life super intimidating, super, I don't know. I was just lost for so many years, and I don't want anybody to live 5 years without being able to go to the bathroom by themselves if they have that capability. If you are a paraplegic, I just want you to be able to use a catheter and do all the things. And if you're quadriplegic, I want you to find independence in whatever form that, makes sense to you. I just want you to not, waste all the years that I wasted. Let's see if there's any more questions. How do you, is there?
Stephanie.
I went to a seamstress for the first time this week to request a zipper in the crotch of my pants, and they were perplexed. Really? I've never ever had a weird glance. Nobody's ever looked at me weird. They've always just asked what size of zipper. That's really funny. Because I've never had that experience. They've always just done it. How do you handle things when a hotel room is carpeted and hard to propel your wheelchair? I just swear to God.
She complains all the time because she can't understand why it'll always pull the wheelchair one direction. Does anybody know the answer to that? When you're in a hotel or someplace like that has a carpet, why does it always pull your wheelchair one way?
Or the other. I just experienced this the other day in a school I was teaching in, because they have very, very fine carpet in the office where I have to go and get my sub plans. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm a substitute teacher. That's what I do for my job. And it was insane. It literally, I was going, and then I took my hand off my wheel for 1 second, and it veered me into a table. It was ridiculous. And I was just like, what is it about this commercial underlay? Because you can wheel on a residential carpet without it being like that. But if it's a commercial underlay, it does something to your wheels. It's so weird. So if somebody knows, please tell me, because I can't figure it out and it's annoying. So yeah, the answer is just get annoyed and live with it. There's not really much to do, I guess. Is this a question for me, or are you talking to somebody else? If people can talk about porn, then why can't we talk about personal care? I can talk about personal care.
That's half your channel.
Yeah. I talk about personal care all the time. I'm going to talk about this right now because I thought this was very interesting. I've never, ever, 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 ever once considered this. So I got contacted by 2 individuals that are from Ontario, and they do something called T6 Talks. So if you're in Ontario, you probably know what that is. They're peer-led discussions about different things around spinal cord injury, but they're they're kind of opening up this conversation about what's it called? It's like if somebody needs assistance with sexual health, that's like a quadriplegic or something like that, with getting in the right position or whatever, because people have personal care attendants do other things, but they're sort of developing a thing that is a training for people to help with sexual health. If they're, whether it be like a couple or just an individual that needs help with positioning, or just wants, I need to be in this position and then you can leave the room kind of thing. It was just interesting. I've never ever once thought about that. There's a lot of
somebody that goes and helps them get into position.
Yeah, like it's just because if you're like a really high level quadriplegic, or you have a neuromuscular thing like SMA and you can't get into the right position, and it's literally just like, one date or whatever, and you're not super comfortable with that person yet. I just never considered it. I'd never considered if somebody needs help, toileting or showering or getting dressed, what do they do especially if you have, like, I don't have feeling in my genitals. So, I might forget about that part if I didn't have a partner, which is bad. I know it's bad. But if you can feel, like, if you have a neuromuscular thing, you can totally feel normally, and, self-pleasure and all those things are still on the table. They're on the table for everybody, but you still want that stuff, but you can't really get into position and all that stuff. Anyway, I just thought it was a really interesting topic. I'd never once considered that. And I feel kind of ashamed that I would be like, how do people even do that? I don't know. I wouldn't want Neuralink, even if I was able to walk again. Elizabeth's with you, Joe. Now you guys are freaking me out. Like, I'm going to be like that person that if I ever got Neuralink, I would be like, take me to your leader. And we all just like turn like robots and start doing whatever they want us to do. They turn me into an angry robot instead of a happy one. Times have changed. I took a plane ride and my RGK fit into the overhead. Made others mad since I took a whole bin, but oh well. What is that RGK called? It's called something. I keep seeing that everywhere, and I did actually sort of talk about it in my video about different types of wheelchairs, but it is really cool.
Didn't you say Ricardo does that? Was it Ricardo?
No. No, he has a Panthera. He was just talking about my friend Ricardo, thinking that he had that wheelchair.
No, I thought that he puts his chair up.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you talked to him about that. I can't remember talking to him about that. But I actually had a wheelchair just like that. That folded, the front frame folded in and the back folded down. And then I gave it back to AEDL, which is like the government funding program here, because they bought it, and I never did get used to it. And then I got a new wheelchair, so I gave it back. But it was really, it folded up. I was like, I was just going with grammar rules in my mind, and it went to felled instead of folded, because folded is wrong. Helded, no. Okay, how long did it take for you to become independent? Transfers of all sorts, heights, how long before all the pain, etc. went away? Newly para, 14 months, just curious. All right, Chris, I was actually going to talk about this story. It's on here, how I became independent. That was like one of the things that I was going to talk about. So if you've watched my channel for a long time, you know that it took me a really long time to get independent. So I was paralyzed in 1999, like right on the cusp of 2000, which sucked because it was like Y2K. Who remembers that? When Y2K, everybody thought the computers were going to crash and the world was going to end. I was so looking forward to being 13 years old and going to those New Year's parties and being with my friends. And then I was paralyzed and they all went to the parties and I was in the hospital. And then my birthday was 2 weeks later, which sucked. But anyway, so I was paralyzed in 1999, early 2000. And I was in the hospital for 3 months, and my mom had been a personal care attendant at an old folks home before I was born. So she knew how to use a catheter. She knew about bowel routine, how to do digital stimulation. She knew everything, how to transfer. She knew how to do everything. And when I was in the hospital, she stayed with me the entire time. So I don't remember a nurse doing any of my personal care, not even like once. And she went home for a night once and a nurse dropped me on the floor. I was a big whiner, mind you. So I made a huge deal about it. I called my mom, like, she dropped me on the floor. And it was probably because I was being a butthead when she was transferring me. But anyway, so my mom literally took a plane and flew right back, and she stayed with me the whole time I was in the hospital. And then when we went home, she just continued to do all my personal care. I could not transfer. I could not pull up my pants. I could not go to the bathroom, cathing, or bowel routine on my own. The only thing I could basically do for myself was push myself around. And I did do things like basic cooking and stuff. Once I was in my wheelchair, I felt pretty confident. I used to go hours and hours and hours without cathing because I didn't want to go home for my mom to cath me. And I didn't want my friends to know. God, no, could my friends know that I had to use a catheter or that I didn't have bowel and bladder control. It was awful. So I didn't get independent for a really long time. And the longer I let my mom do my personal care, the more intimidating it became. And the less confident I was in my abilities to do it. Obviously, my mom's getting, tired. It's like having a baby again. She's getting up in the middle of the night to cath me once in the middle of the night. She's getting up early in the morning before she has to go to work to help me do my bowel routine and shower and all of these things. And I'm embarrassed about all this stuff because I don't want my friends to know that my mommy has to help me take a poop or put my pants on. So I'm hiding this from all of my friends and just basically dying inside. That was 5 years of my life. And the only reason that I got independent was because I was moving out of the house and in with my boyfriend. So I had a boyfriend all through high school, and I was moving out of the house and in with him. And my mom was like, I can't live with you guys, and you better learn how to use the bathroom on your own. So my mom moved in with me for a month when I moved out of the house. So I was already graduated high school, and my boyfriend was working away for the summer as a laborer, and he was going to come and move in with me after he got back. So my mom came with me to the city where I was going to university, which is near where I live now. And she moved in with me for a whole month. And in that month, no joke, it was like rehab. I learned how to cath. I learned how to do bowel routine. I learned how to transfer. I learned how to put my pants on. I learned how to do everything. I learned how to drive. It was the most stressful crash course in independence ever. And when my mom left, I got a home care nurse from home care, like in the city. And I think I had her for like 2 weeks because I just wanted her around in case I fell. I was afraid of the transfers and stuff still. So she would come in the morning, but she was terrible. And I'm so thankful that I got a really awful person as my home care nurse because it motivated me to be independent. While all that was happening, I was meeting other people in wheelchairs. Margaret, who's been on here many times, I was meeting her. Actually, I met her before because she's the one that helped me find the apartment. So there was all of these things happening at once. Me moving out of the house, me meeting other people in wheelchairs, me re-entering outpatient rehab at the local rehab hospital and seeing actual physiatrists and physios and OTs that knew what my function level should be and what I should be able to do independently. Because I kept telling myself that I couldn't do any of these things. So they were all, you need to be able to do these things and you're totally capable of it. And then being guilted by Margaret, who is a quadriplegic and is showing me up like terribly, pushing herself, being able to do all these things independently. So it was just a whole combination of things that made me really understand that my abilities were much, much higher than what I was allowing for myself. So huge crash course. So 5 years and 1 month, I guess it took me to get independent. And then to get really independent in terms of like transfers to all sorts of heights and stuff. To be honest, that's like 5 years ago. I was relying on this guy to get me on the toilet in places when we traveled. I was not confident at all when we traveled to get on beds or anything like that. He always got me in vehicles. He almost always put me on the couch. And I feel like, not that like I was enabled, but I've always had somebody that was around. First my mom, then my boyfriend, then Joe.
Yeah, but not totally.
Well, not always around. I'm just saying that like if I needed help, like when we traveled and stuff, I didn't travel all by myself until 2019. Never would take anywhere, like go anywhere by myself. even long driving trips, I was terrified of. So it was, I got independent early on in my accident, or not super early on, but 5 years after I was hurt. But it took me a really long time to let go of a lot of the fear I had around doing things on my own. And I think the biggest thing that happened to make me, Brittany, the Empowered Para YouTuber, is I started exercising. I started eating healthy when Jamie was born, because I was like a sugaraholic before that. So I was eating healthy for a really long time, but then I started exercising about 5 years ago, and I've totally fallen off the wagon for the last 6 months. So I don't want anybody to be like holding me up on a pedestal saying, oh, she works out every day. Terrible. I've literally not worked out consistently for 5 months. Like here and there I do. And sometimes I might accomplish twice a week, but it's really hit and miss. And I feel it. I feel it so bad. Joe just weighed me yesterday and I lost weight because I lost so much muscle, which is awful. And I need to gain it back because it's so much better. I have tendonitis again. So my body really, really feels it if I don't exercise. But that's what really was the difference. Once I started exercising, I got stronger. My transfers got better. I had more confidence. I had more confidence just in my self-image. And then I guess I just tried more things. I started traveling by myself and stopped letting the fear, I guess, take away the things that were potentially exciting and the memories I could make. So yeah, I think it was only been 5 years since I started hand cycling. I just did everything all at once. And I think partly the reason that I waited so long is because I got busy being a mom. So if you
and I'm going to step in because I credit becoming a mom for a lot of your independence. There's been stages.
Oh, totally.
What I mean? Once you became a mom, at first you were scared out of your wits.
Oh, terrified.
But once you got into it, that's when kind of a switch clicked with you on traveling and everything else, because you were going to do everything you could do with the kids, and the kids weren't going to do without, because you were in a wheelchair and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Right? Like you traveled to Montana with Jamie by yourself.
Yeah. That was another, I always say, and I just did a talk about this, about the steps to being empowered, for another organization. I don't know if anybody here was there, but I told a story of me traveling to Montana with my cousin Amanda for the first time. And it was a nudge. And I always feel like there's these nudges that have happened in my life. Sometimes they're a small nudge. Sometimes they're, things that I've seen other people do, that I've watched, like a podcast or something, that just shift my mindset a little bit to make the thing that I'm afraid of a possibility. And a lot of the time the nudges are actually pushes from other people. So, when I got independent, it was my mom being like, I'm not doing this anymore. I love you, but you are moving out of the house. Go on your own. And, that was my mom. She was being like, you have to be an independent person. When I was a mom, when I got pregnant, it was Joe, because I literally begged him to get a nanny. And he was like, no, we're not getting a nanny. You do not need a nanny. And I was so mad. I was so mad at him for not supporting me. I was like, you're not supporting me. You're not supporting me. And I'm so thankful that he believed in me more than I did, because as soon as I had to figure it out on my own, then my brain started going, what am I going to do for this? What am I going to do for this? And I started figuring stuff out. And sometimes we did it together, how we were going to make things work, like the car seat in the van and all of these things. But it was nudges. And then the trip to Montana, where I learned so much about my own independence and figuring out that I can get off the toilet, transfer off the toilet by myself, because I used to use toilets, support arms around the toilet in order to get off. My cousin basically made me go on that trip. And when I got there, I was terrified. And then I just figured everything out. So little nudges like that have happened throughout my life. My YouTube channel has started because my friend Sarah made me do this Tony Robbins thing, and she held me accountable to one of the challenges. They're always little nudges. So if you're somebody that's watching this right now and you think, somebody like, Brittany, who's on YouTube, isn't afraid of things or doesn't ever need to be pushed outside of her comfort zone, that is so not true. And that's why I think I'm relatable because I'm usually terrified. I'm always insecure. And I just do this shit anyway. I'm just like, I'm going to do it anyway and see how it works out. And I've gotten really good at asking people for help and not worrying about if they know how I have to go to the bathroom or any of that stuff. I'm just like, I have to pee and this is how I'm doing it. His dad has seen me pee so many times, like not directly, but
no, you don't see it.
Yeah, he doesn't see it directly, but I've be peeing in my car in their driveway, and he's like comes to say hi, and I'm like, I'm peeing, and he's like, okay. I'm just so used to being who I am and who I need to be around people, and it's helped. So that was a very long-winded answer to say that it took me a very short time to become independent once I kind of made that decision. How long for all the pain to go away? Never. Like the pain in terms of like my back pain, when I was young, like that, I didn't have a lot of pain. Nerve pain is a pain in the royal rump. Right now, my legs are on fire, which doesn't make any sense because it's just in my brain, but it still hurts. So I'm going to say pain never goes away, but you learn to manage it. And I use cognitive behavioral therapy, which is basically changing your reaction to the pain. Instead of me, I don't know, thinking the pain is terrible, I just kind of slough it off. And every once in a while it gets really bad, but generally I just kind of forget about it. When is it offensive to offer help? In my opinion, never, unless you just touch somebody or start doing it. I think asking for help is kind, considerate. I think it's an awesome thing that you've been raised to do when you're around other people. So I don't think it's ever offensive to offer help. I do think it's offensive to touch somebody's wheelchair without telling them, pick up their groceries or something without asking, those kinds of things, because you would never just do that to somebody generally. And even though I think it comes from a good place, I think that you should ask if you want to touch somebody or do something, because it's not even that like it bothers me. There's been people that have had language barriers and things like that when I've traveled that have come up and pushed me. And it's not that I'm offended that they want to help me. It's just that I don't have good balance. So if somebody starts pushing me from behind, I don't expect it, and then I lose my balance. But
you need to know how to push a wheelchair. It's not just pushing the wheelchair. You got to know when to tip the front wheels up. There's actually a knack you got to get used to.
Yeah. So yeah, I always ask for help. I think just don't offer. If somebody says no, thank you. I was out one time and I looked cold, and this lady was offering me a blanket, and then she was offering me a heating pad, and then she was offering me like all these things, like 13 times.
Sounds like a really nice lady.
And she was so nice because she was having a hard time watching me be uncomfortable. And I was like, thank you. I know it's uncomfortable for you to watch me be uncomfortable, but I prefer to be uncomfortable, because the blanket kept getting caught in my wheels when I was trying to wheel. And it was impeding my freedom, and I didn't want it. And even though it was cold, I knew it was going to be a short time. So yeah, when that stuff happens, I'm just like, no, thank you. You've asked a million times. But I am seriously one of those people that ask somebody if they're okay 13,000 times when they're sick. So, and I think I'm being well-intentioned. And Joe literally turns to me and is like, F off. I'm fine. So how often do you turn in your sleep, and do you bolster your feet? I turn myself usually twice, at least in the night. Depends on how many times I pee. I wake up to pee probably 3 times. 3 times on average in the night. And I go from my back to my left side. That's really it. The right side, occasionally I'll sleep on, but I go from my right side or my left side.
Is it bad to sleep on your left side? Something about your living?
I sleep on my left side. Fun fact, it just helps with your bowel movements, because your descending colon, like your on your left side is where like your colon exits into your rectum on your left side of your body. So if you sleep on your left side, the stuff from your colon will gravity will help it get down to where it needs to go from your like transverse colon, which is like the one that goes across your body, across your rib cage. So I sleep on my left side because I think it's going to help that. And I always massage my stomach in the direction that the poop needs to go when I go to bed. So that's probably TMI, but it always kind of helps. And no, I don't bolster my feet. I just make sure that they're not on top of each other. So I like reach down and make sure my legs are sort of like that. Like, I don't know. Anyway, my feet aren't together. That was a terrible demonstration. Yeah, pain never goes away, which kind of sucks. What is the longest time you had to stay out of your chair because of a pressure sore? It was when Jacob was about 8 months old, and I had a tiny open pressure sore on my tailbone, and I had to stay out of it for, I want to say it was like 3 weeks. I wasn't totally out of my chair, but my sister came to stay with me for a week, and then when it wasn't healing, I went to my mom's, and she was really good because she was babysitting, and I was able to at least be out of my chair for probably like 6 hours a day, and it healed quite fast once I figured out that it was my freaking cushion, and I got a new one. So, have you tried the jam in Toronto? I looked it up. I'm like forgetting what that is right now, though. I don't know what my phone is, but it's bugging me. But I did look that up. Jamon Saran. I don't know how to say it. Jamon Saran. I don't know how to say it. I'm not even sure. I was like terrible. That sounded like.
I'm guessing that the J is silent, like a Y.
Yeah.
Jamon Serrano.
You say it.
It's a guess.
Oh, I do remember that. I asked if it was the same thing as prosciutto. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I don't even know where to buy it. This is Canada. We have like the worst selection of foods other than we have Chinatown and Little Italy, and those are, you can buy lots of Chinese things and Italian things. And I think we have like.
Let's say I think we probably have a pretty good selection. We've got a lot of different cultures here. So.
Well, we have lots of different cultures. I'm just saying. Well, there is. Yeah. Okay, so
how much of it's like traditional?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying. Like I was trying to find Korean things, and freaking hard. That was hard because I thought you just go to the the Chinese supermarket and no, Korea and China are not the same. So I know, but I thought
a little bit,
I was like. Stupid?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just telling you that I thought if you went to an Asian market, they would have all that stuff, but they don't. It was really hard to find Korean things. I found a tiny little Korean store, and there's other ones. There's like Filipino bakeries and things like that sprinkled everywhere, but I would have to look for it. So you tell me, I don't even know what language or culture that is. So you tell me where to find that.
So ask me about your scooter.
Oh. Curious, the power assist device used at the camp acreage, is that the Chill Care Companion? No, mine is just a e-bike or something like that.
It's from China.
Ordered it off. Hang on. It's from China.
Ordered it off of Amazon.
Yeah, it's just on Amazon.
For the price, it's really good.
It's $1,500. It's a little annoying to learn how to get on by yourself. I can do it now, but it took me a solid few months to get good at it.
But everything's gonna be like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't. The other major competitor is like a Baytech. At least here, that's what everybody has. But they're like the cheapest that I've ever seen anybody get a Baytech for is $6,000, and that was like a kind of a used one that the guy who sells them had to sell her, and I just can't justify that much money for something that works just as well that you can get on Amazon. Have you ever flipped over in your wheelchair? Yeah, I flipped over in my wheelchair so many different times. One time in my van, and I was like all by myself, and I had to like hail down people. Luckily, the door was open because that would have been really awkward.
One time with Jacob.
That was over the front. So the funny thing is when you're first in a wheelchair, your biggest fear is falling over backwards, and you almost never fall over backwards if you fall out forward.
You have in the corner of the bedroom. You fell backwards into the corner of the walls, and she was trapped upside down in the corner of the wall.
So you do fall over backwards, but I would say the majority of the time that you fall out of your wheelchair, it's forward. Because most of the time you take your seatbelt off after you've been in a wheelchair for a while. And if you hit something, it's like the law of inertia, whatever is going keeps going. and whatever stops, right? So your wheelchair stops, but your body still has that momentum. So you just keep going, you fall up. So I've fallen out of my wheelchair out forward more than I've fallen backwards. Okay, let's see. Oops. See, I keep.
Yeah. Well, because you don't use them much.
How is the watering station, potting shed, rain barrels coming along?
Well, we haven't really had any rain yet. It's like wildfires all around here right now. So I think we've had 20 minutes of rain/hail yesterday, and then maybe a little bit of rain this morning, but not much rain to speak of right now.
I'm gonna take a second and try my like celebratory cupcake thing that I made. The whole
and spill all over the place.
The whole egg came off. I'm trying not to eat dairy right now, so cow's dairy. So I made that icing with goat cheese and maple syrup. It's good, yummy. Okay, this one.
Yeah.
Good evening from Nova Scotia. Loved your CBC Push series. Thank you for watching. It was such a cool experience to be on a TV show. I hope they approve of season 2. It'll be really cool if there is. And I am really proud of it. I wish we would have showed some other things, some parts of the show, but it's really hard to like squeeze in 20 minutes a whole bunch of footage because they tape so much stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool to be part of a Canadian show. I'm pretty proud of it. What are accessibility laws like in Canada? Sucky.
As compared to where? You always say that, but you have nothing to gauge it against.
Compared to the U.S., where they have the ADA. We don't have a. We don't.
What, like, do you know what the regulations and stuff are there compared against?
I do know. I do know. So, for example, in Canada, one of the accessibility regulations says that there has to be one accessible hotel or accessible room per hotel for people in wheelchairs. Out of hundreds of rooms, there has to be one. Lots of times they do more than one, like 2 or 3. But in the United States, there has to be one per floor. So if there's like, however many floors in a hotel, 17 floors, there has to be at least one on every floor. And a lot of them have different sort of, this is like they'll have like 3 on a floor, but one has a roll-in shower and different levels of accessibility. So it's very difficult in Canada if you go somewhere with more people than just like 2 wheelchairs. It's difficult to get an accessible room in general. Like it's really difficult to get an accessible room. And the thing that's annoying about an accessible room in Canada is they always have one bed. There are always one bed accessible rooms generally because they don't think that we have kids or something. It makes it, it's like, no, those people are never going to have sex. Why would we ever? They're not going to procreate. We better just leave one bed.
Yeah,
I know that doesn't consciously go through their head, but it's so annoying.
It's not that. It's
what is it?
It bugs me. It's ignorance. It's not
maliciousness.
It's not.
I know that.
It's not assumptions like that.
I know that they're not sitting there thinking that.
If they knew people with accessibility requirements, some of them are going to need a caregiver or an assistant who might not want to sleep in the same bed as them. So, do you know what I mean? It's like most things where people try, they just don't know. Like putting a cutout in the curb right in front of the handicap or the accessible parking space. Didn't cost them any less money. Wasn't any cheaper. Wasn't any easier. It's a lack of understanding and education.
I know.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when you gripe about stuff, it comes off as.
I'm not saying that they think that consciously. I just am saying that's what it's like, feels like as a person with a disability. They're like, they don't need another bed. They don't even need to see themselves in the mirror. Who gets that all the time when you go into a accessible hotel room and they're like, beautiful room, but the mirror is like right here and you're like, well, that's helpful for knowing whether I look terrible. Let's see.
I like that one. Show that one. That's great. I love it.
Australian hotels, the carpets will make your chair turn the opposite way. I have a subscriber in Australia, and I'm going to go stay with that guy. He's awesome. He's like 76 or something, and he offered to put me and my whole family up, but he won't go because he's always scared of weird people. And he's not weird, but he's not sure he's weird. And
you have to meet people in a neutral space first.
I'm gonna go stay with this guy, whether you like it or not. Okay, is there anything else? Let's see. We're just like looking down, and you guys are like, "Ugh, that's boring."
Well, there you go. You have a bit of an explanation.
The carpet pulls. Oh, here we go. The carpet pulls your wheelchair sideways because you are rolling across the nap that is formed when the mill rolls the hot carpet and sets the fibers. There you go. Why does it only happen in commercial carpet?
Kind of like grain and wood.
Yeah, kind of like grain and wood. Yeah, we're sausage feet. We're in this together. If I go shoe shopping in the morning, I'm good. But if I go in the end of the day, I'm like, nah, I'm not stuffing my sausage into that casing. And then you see what people, like able-bodied people, put their feet in, and you're like, you don't even know. You don't even know how good you got it. Just walking around with that dainty little foot. Your mom has bonus. Your mom had that. What is a PSW? I'm assuming it's like a personal care attendant. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's a personal care attendant, and that your mom's a saint. She really was. My mom was great. She never made me feel like shit about it either. She was really good. Any plans for a vlog on a camping trip this year? Absolutely. I'm going to do a day in the life camping. I don't know whether I'm going to do it this weekend or next weekend, but I promise I'm going to do it because I didn't do it at all last year. And so many people are curious about how I make camping work. It's really not that interesting.
If you think camping involves a trailer.
Yeah, exactly. I camp in a trailer because
we have camped in tents before, though. Before we were able to save up for a trailer. Remember how much we wanted a trailer so bad? Hey, when we were tenting it all the time.
Yeah, I hated the tent though because I'm always cold, and I used to get really, really cold at night. So, hands down, better than anything on TV tonight. Aw, that makes me feel so good. This is really fun. I really honestly love this. The only thing that would make it better, I might gonna do this in the future, is like a Zoom thing. I'm just gonna give y'all a link if you're on my email list. And then you can be on camera and you can actually talk, which I don't know how well that will go if there's 70 people, that would make me so happy. I'm toying around with the idea of doing like a coaching program, support group / thing. You do need a beer?
Yeah, there's a comment there.
Where?
Your husband looks like he needs a beer. Or your hubby.
Oh, yeah. He drinks beer. One a day. But he drinks often, not a lot. Like he doesn't drink a lot. He just drinks a beer a day. And I don't even like beer. I don't like alcohol. Joe is so chilled out in the background. Can't get a word in, enjoying the beer. That is his life. That is his life. And he doesn't even try to get a word in. He just puts his earbud in, turns TikTok on, and pretends to listen. And I have gotten to the point where I'm like, that's love, because he's nodding and listening and not ignoring me. Because before, he used to, if he would like pause the TV every time I started talking, and then he would be like, and then I would talk for a little bit, and then he would play the show, and then he would pause it, and then I would talk, and then he would unpause it, and it was like terrible.
And let's be fair, half the time when you're telling me something and then I weigh in on it, you end up not being happy with my answers anyway. So
yeah,
you want a sounding board, not somebody who's going to have an opinion. Sometimes.
And he'll tell me something. He'll tell me something like 35 times, and I won't listen at all. And then I'll come home and I'm like, guess what? This person said this thing was so profound. He's like, I literally said that yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't care when you say it.
All the time. If it comes from a stranger or somebody who charges you money, then it's trustworthy.
Don't get into
from your husband. It's like, how would you know?
I have like no willpower with like marketing things. That's why I have such a hard time starting my own coaching program, because I'm like, I hate marketing. It literally affects me so badly. And I hate especially like those sleazy marketers that are like, take my program or your life's going to suck. I'm like, that will never be me. I'm like, take my program because it's going to be super fun and we're going to have a great time in it. And you're going to learn some stuff, but never go into debt, spend money you would all need for groceries. That's never going to be my marketing. So I'll probably never make money, but, okay. Yeah. Have you ever got on public transport on your own, train or bus? I've just managed the bus in my wheelchair. Funny thing, I just went to Vancouver. I took a sea bus. I took an airplane. I took excuse me, that was gross. I took an airplane all by myself, which is public transportation, I guess. I took the LRT SkyTrain.
The SkyTrains are really good though.
And I took the sea bus, which is like a boat that goes across the water. And when I was in university, my boyfriend hit a moose with my van, so I didn't have a van for like a month. So I had to take the LRT to school then, and I did, and was a weirdo and never carried a backpack with my books in it. So I just would like balance the books on my lap and get on the train. I don't mind public transportation. And I've obviously taken like taxis and stuff. I did that in Vancouver too. I took a couple of taxis and had to transfer into those. But yeah, it's okay. It's mostly the biggest thing that I'm always worried about is finding the spot that your wheelchair is supposed to go. Like when you get in, like where's my wheelchair supposed to go? But I found it really easily in Vancouver.
I have to give that to Vancouver. Yeah, I did grow up out there, but as opposed to Alberta, the SkyTrain's 1,000 times better.
Fear is the mind killer. I love this. This is really true. Fear is the mind killer. And there's a difference between like healthy fear, where you do like a risk assessment. Like when I was going to Vancouver, for example, I was nervous because I haven't been to Vancouver by myself. I had to wheel places to get to where I needed to go in order to get a ride from my friend. I had to take the train. I had to take, taxis. I was nervous, but that didn't stop me from going. It just made me do some risk assessment. So I downloaded a map of the airport. I figured out which taxis were in North Van where I was going to stay. I looked up the different lines of the SkyTrain, so I knew which one I was going to take. I knew whether it was a zone 1 fare or zone 2 fare or 2 zone fare or 1 zone fare. So I did all those things before I left. I figured out how to, get my bag on my lap and carry it so that it wasn't going to fall off. So I do risk assessment now.
Because she was worried about wheeling down Hastings Street and getting it snatched.
Well, I did have to wheel down like almost there. I didn't make it to
Did you see Tent City? Or had it been dismantled?
It was being dismantled that evening when I got to Vancouver. But I saw one guy in a wheelchair that was homeless, and it was sad. He was just like sleeping and looked drunk, but his wheelchair was sitting there, and I was like, oh my God. But yeah, fear is really a mind killer, and you have to be able to overcome fear if you're in a wheelchair, especially because you never know when you're going to fall out of your wheelchair. And if you stop leaving the house because you don't know when you're going to fall out, you're never going to go anywhere. And yeah, you just have to kind of be like, whatever happens. I don't drive in the wintertime super long distances all the time because if I go, I'm just saying
not super long, like not 5 hours, but
I sometimes
you'll friggin' weather a blizzard to get your son to archery tournament.
Yeah, I'm just saying that
when I've said no, he can miss this one because the roads are too bad.
I'm just saying that I used to drive. There's like a school that's an hour away, and I got asked to teach there for like 2 weeks in a row, and the roads were terrible every single day. After that, I was like, I'm not driving out to that school anymore in the wintertime because I would have to go so early in the morning that there was like no cars on the road. And if I hit the ditch, nobody would even see me. So I do a risk analysis like that. And I go, if that's not worth my time to, be in that kind of danger. But if it's for the memories or whatever, I'll do almost anything. I'm not going to skydive though, because that's just pushing your luck.
She didn't like parasailing, so skydiving kind of.
I've just learned to do things by doing it on my own. This is talking about parenting. When my wife leaves me with the twins and I have to look after them, which is good. It's so scary when you're a parent in a wheelchair and you have to, look after tiny humans that are helpless and you're not sure how to do it. But really, it's not, especially if you're a paraplegic, even if you're a quadriplegic, the kids learn so fast. And the first year goes by like, the blink of an eye. And then the kid is really able to sort of learn too. And I think that's the best part.
I think, that's totally, they grow up with it from right away. So like everybody always commented on how helpful Jacob was and independent and everything. And we're a product of our environment, right? Nature and nurture. And I think it's going to do him a lot of good in his life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The fact that he learned to be helpful when he could be and self-sufficient when he could be. And I think that's healthy.
Yeah. I always say that my kids turned out great. Not despite my wheelchair, but because of my wheelchair. Like they are very independent. They know how to do lots of things. Like Jacob can barbecue and do laundry and clean toilets and vacuum. And
just attentive about everything around them. Like as a husband to someone with a disability, it doesn't come natural. It's something that's learned over time to be able to walk into an environment and see what's going to work for your wife. I need a haircut. What's going to work for your wife, what's going to be challenges, so on and so forth. And the kids have kind of grown up with that. So it transfers across other aspects of life too. It's not just going to be what's specific to mom's disability, but they're just attentive to their environment.
And they notice things right away that are not wheelchair accessible. They go like, what? That's so dumb. And I've told other people this before, but I think kids that grow up with parents with disabilities or any kind of difference, I think kids that grow up seeing the world through a different lens are the ones that are going to grow up to make the world the most inclusive place, because they're the ones that consider things that, quote unquote, normal people don't consider what's normal anyway. But anybody, like if their parents have cancer or, inflammatory bowel disease, whatever it is, kids that grow up like that, I think are going to be better people. As a teen, were you able to get a part-time job? I did not get a job when I was a teenager, other than babysitting.
When did you do the science camps?
That was at university.
Oh.
So before I moved out of the house, I would babysit my cousins and stuff like that. And I felt confident doing that. But usually my boyfriend was with me. So I wasn't doing it entirely by myself. And I did volunteer a few times at like the library and things like that, but I didn't have a paying job. And then when I started university in the summertime, so from May to the end of August, I worked at a science and engineering camp called Discover E. And I was a workshop leader. So we would make workshops based on the different curriculum areas of different grade levels. So flight, hearing and sound, flying, crawling, something, anyway, doesn't matter. Long-winded. I would do these workshops with other university students, and then I would teach summer camp in the summertime. And this is another one of those examples that I think I got the job because I'm in a wheelchair, because I went for an interview and I got the job. And after I got the job, I was talking to other people and they had to go through 1, 2, 3 like interviews and all that stuff. And I only had one interview, and I think I was qualified for the job. I think that I did a good job in my interview. And I think I sold my wheelchair as an asset in terms of, showing other kids that there can be people with disabilities in science and engineering. And so I think that's why I got the job. But I think it had a lot to do with me being in a wheelchair, being a visible minority, and being sort of a quota filled. But I will take that every day of the week. Because I learned so much. I made great relationships. And my favorite part of that whole job, I still remember this so well, is when I went to do a workshop and there was a little girl in a wheelchair, and I wheeled in and her eyes got like giant. Like she was just like, oh my God. And then her teacher went to her and she was like, see, look, you wanted to be an engineer. And this lady teaches people how to be engineers. And she is in a wheelchair, so you can be an engineer too. And this little girl was just like so excited that she could still do what she wanted to do. So yeah, that was my favorite part of that job, just being able to see kids and what?
That one for you guys.
Yeah. Oh, would you encourage other people to start a YouTube channel? I did have this one up there and then I took it down. Yes, I would encourage anybody to start a YouTube channel. That is the beauty of a platform like this, is that we get to share our human experience so that other people can have somebody that they can relate to. And it doesn't matter whether they are in the same town or across the world, they can find their person or their people. And I think that is one of the things that stopped me from being independent, that stopped me from having a vision for my life, is I didn't have anybody that I could relate to. And, you know, anybody can turn on YouTube now and, you know, put it in the search, whatever they're looking for, and stumble across somebody that looks like them, talks like them, feels very close to what they would consider, you know, somebody that is them. And I think that's the beauty of it.
So what I would say is it's a lot of work. Brittany had to learn a lot. So
much.
Like video editing, and there's a lot of work to it. You know, you end up spending money because eventually your phone doesn't cut it, and you know, so don't go into it thinking like you may be lucky, you may have the likability, but don't go into it thinking that, you know, 6 months in you're gonna be able to support yourself on it. Some people might.
Yeah.
Our experience is not that.
Some people might. Like, there are people, and I feel attest to this. I'm like, how do they have the 170,000 subscribers and only 32 videos? Like, how is that even possible? But it's a lot of work. Like, even just now, like, I've got this microphone thing set up to my camera so that it's clear video. I had to like Google this microphone. I had to get a different camera link thing to hook up to my computer. There's a lot of technical stuff that just takes a long time to learn. But there are people that just film on their phone with no special mics, no special anything. They just upload and go. And I think if there's anything I've learned over the years, is that people will watch almost anything if the audio quality is good. Even video doesn't have to be that great a quality. As long as we can hear what you're saying, people are pretty forgiving, and you have something worth saying and something worth listening to. So I think there needs to be more disability content, more human, I don't know, like human interest content. Like, there's enough people, you know, eating giant gummy bears and jumping into pools of Jello. Like, those are great, but I wish there was more useful content that made people feel less alone and less self-conscious, and had more, you know, positivity to it, rather than just, you know, spending $50,000 to get the views, which, if you can do it, whatever.
I like this one. I can't see the word, but I'm assuming it's, do you need to pee?
Brittany, you're looking a bit flushed. Do you need some water or something? No, I have something called rosacea, which is...
Yeah, but it's red right now, which happens to you when you have to pee.
Yeah, I probably do have to pee soon. Normally I do. I purposely didn't drink a whole bunch of water before this, because last time I had to hop off because I had to pee. But rosacea is just like an inflammatory skin condition, which if you've been watching my YouTube channel, you've sort of seen the evolution of it. It wasn't I didn't have it when I started YouTube, and now I do, and I don't know why. So I'm eating no sugar, no dairy, no gluten. It's annoying, but I'm trying to figure out what it is. But thank you for noticing. Someone grabbed my wheelchair without warning. I snapped and it felt intrusive. It is really uncomfortable when somebody does that. It's just plain uncomfortable. And
once again, I think intent means something. You know?
It does, but...
You know what I mean? You educate people afterwards. All they're doing... It's one thing once they know. It's another thing if they're just trying to be helpful, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but that's like somebody, like...
You know what?
Washing...
I was soured on people in wheelchairs for years until I met you. So one interaction in a bathroom of a guy snapping made me avoid eye contact and want nothing to do with anybody in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So whatever, it is what it is. Just be mindful.
Yeah. I try to be mindful about that because of that reason. I want people to have a good experience with people in wheelchairs. But, and I'm really I'm so non-confrontational. I don't think I've snapped at a stranger ever. There was a guy, no joke, I'm going to tell you the story. I went to that Volt hockey thing. If you watch my channel, it was the last video I did about the go-kart hockey. So I was going to that. And then after that, we went out for dinner to this place. And there was 2 accessible stalls right at the front. And I was parked in one. And my friend who I was giving a ride, he was transferring into my vehicle with his chair. So we were waiting to leave. And this guy who's totally able-bodied with his kid pulls into the handicap stall next to us and doesn't have a placard, and they're just running in to get their food. And the guy rolls down his window and starts chatting to me. And I didn't say one word. I didn't be like, did you know you're parked in a handicap stall? Because I don't even know whether the guy knew. Like, he was legitimately like, oh, that's such a cool, like, you're so strong. Your friend's getting in there. Like, he was being so kind. I was like, I'm not sure whether he knows that he parked in an accessible stall. Should I say something? But I never did because I'm so non-confrontational. I just won't do it. I've never, even when one lady, she was in a bus, she was a bus driver, and she parked over the curb cut. And I like knocked on the bus and I said, hey, can you please move the bus? I need to get up on this curb. Ew, I just spit something out. And she goes, no, there's another curb cut down there. And I was like, okay. And I like wheeled to the other curb cut. And then these other, because I was out of school, these other teenage boys were like, what? They like got up. They're like, you need to move the bus. They were so mad. And then they like ran inside to tell the principal. And I was like, oh my God, these like 16-year-old guys were so nice. But I was just like sitting there like so flabbergasted that she would say that. And I still didn't say one word to her. Yeah, people just do asking. I'm trying to see if there's any more comments. You compare it to prosciutto.
It's from Spain.
Oh, from Spain. Okay, well, say it.
I don't know if I said it right. Don't make me say it again.
I think it sounds like ham. Jambon serrano or something.
That's French.
Jam and
ham, yeah.
No, I know jam and serrano. I was like, I was in my mind. It was what's that place your mom and sister went on holidays?
Jamaica?
Yeah, jamon. That's what I was saying in my head. Jamon, serrano, whatever. That's not how it is, but that's what I was saying in my head. See? Jam, like you know how they say it? Jamaica? Like how they say yeah man or whatever? It's like jamon. Mm-hmm. Anyway. You guys are like, what is she even talking about?
She's a T6 para.
What classification level is your injury? I'm an Asia A, T6. And Asia A is like, the Asia scale is like, if anybody knows what that is, it's just classifications of paralysis. So if you're familiar with the Asia scale, I'm an Asia A, which means you're complete paralysis. Can't feel or move anything below your level of injury, and then it goes up from there. Asia B, I don't actually even know. I just know that I'm an Asia A. And then Asia D is like you can walk independently. What are some of your goals that you're hoping to achieve in the next year, 5 year, and 10 years? Okay, so like, I don't know. Like if financially, like life-wise, I don't know. I guess for me, in the next year, I want to be brave enough to actually start a program that I want to start. For a long time, I've been realizing that the thing that sucks about being paralyzed is that you've never done it before, so you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you're trying to listen to healthcare providers who aren't also paralyzed, and it's really hard to set goals, and there's not enough peer support. So I want to be a rehab coach, but that's not really a thing. So I'm like, I'll see if I can do it. And I really like I love supporting people with disabilities. So in the next year, I would definitely like to see myself be coaching privately people that are newly injured so that I can set them off on the right foot Doesn't matter where they are. And then I have something that I've been working on that I hope to get off the ground. And I don't know if I'll still call it this, called the Rehabilitation Roadmap. It's just basically all of the things that I think are the most important for you to learn in order for you to forget about your disability so that you can live your life. I want to put in sort of a course thingy, but I'm really trying to decide if I do that as a live course. And I can support people through the different pillars of it because everybody's different. Some people need help with bowel and bladder. Some people need help with, driving. Some people need help with health and fitness. They all have different things where they are. So I'm trying to figure out how to best structure that so that all of the people that are taking the program together at one, point in their journey can be together and have support from me and other people who I would bring on to be coaches or speakers on that topic, because I have so many friends that are so knowledgeable in all of these different areas. So I would like to see that happen in the next year. In the next 5 years, I would like my YouTube channel and my brand to be able to support our family, which is a really lofty goal because he's the breadwinner right now, and I would love that to be me so that he can retire and run my life because I am disorganized as F, and I need a manager. And
10 years would be nice. I would love to retire in 10 years.
Yeah, so hopefully that's a thing. I would really like the YouTube channel to be able to be a free thing for people that also pays me. That's why I keep making the content. It will always be free content to you guys. And I will always try and make it on things that matter to you so that you can have a happy, healthy, awesome life in a wheelchair. But I would really like to be able to turn it into a business that actually makes money.
I've been told time and time again that I'll be able to retire and that my retirement is managing her business.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like retirement to me, yeah.
I would really like that. Yes, $1,500 sounds way more reasonable. It is actually very good quality. So it's like a C bike, CNE bike. That's what it is. CNE bike, and it's on YouTube. And I will put it in my camping video for sure. I will actually do a formal review on it. I should do a formal review on it. Does your wheelchair have rear stabilizers? No. I got rid of my tip bars a long time ago just because I found like they weren't doing anything. Honestly, they were just stopping me from getting down curbs and stuff. So I don't use them. Jamie came in the house, right? Yeah. Jamie was washing my car, and then all of a sudden I got this thing like, is she in the house? Is she safe? She was vacuuming my car. So that my daughter spent all the money in her bank account, and she needed money for the concession. So I told her that if she needs money because her bank account is empty because she spent all her allowance, then she had to work to get more allowance. So I made her clean my van. And she did. 10 years old. She vacuumed it, took all the mats out, wiped everything, like wiped the windows and everything. She did a good job. I've flipped every manual chair I've ever had except the one I currently have so far. Like flipped over. I've flipped every one too, I think. I don't do it often, but I do it. I'm enjoying my cake. It is actually really good. It's a carrot cake made with almond flour and honey and maple syrup and carrots, obviously. And then the icing is goat cheese, a little bit of rice milk and maple syrup, and it's good. Do I have an evacuation plan with the fire department if the fires put you at risk? No, I don't. I have thought about this though, what I would take if I had to. I have a keepsake box that has like some of the important things in it, like my baby's first outfits and stuff. So I know where that is. I would take that. Luckily, all of my supplies are in bins already that I put in for easy access. So I would just throw those in the vehicle. And I literally have like this much clothes in a closet, and my pants are like in bins and stuff too. So I think it would take me like no time to evacuate. I am quite minimalist in terms of how much stuff I have and how much stuff I would need. So I'd probably pack up my camera gear, my computer, my hard drives, my keepsake box, my supplies, and yeah, the kids could probably even just like take their drawers out of their thing and just chuck them in the vehicle.
What would you take? It's funny, we were talking about this yesterday.
Elizabeth's saying it sucks in the US too. because they don't follow the ADA rules and get away with it. Okay, well, anytime I've been there, it's been pretty good, but.
And I'm sure every state's different, and I'm sure just like here, every province is different. What?
Read the question.
Does it wake Joe up when you pee in bed? Yeah, but I don't complain because I'm tolerant. Not like my wife if I happen to roll over or snore.
Okay. It's so okay. I don't complain. He only wakes up when I do complain. So how much of the night is he snoring that I'm not complaining and I'm being considerate? Because I'm not waking him up to be like, I'm being considerate right now. I'm letting you sleep. So
you married someone with allergies. I married someone in a wheelchair. They come with good and bad.
The snoring isn't the worst part. It's this. Like it's like he's like breathing out and making a pee sound at the same time. Like what? I don't get it.
I've gotten used to it. Since she got rid of the Arca rail, it was this like grab handle that folded out of the way. That was the noisiest thing in the world, and heaven forbid you be sleeping downstairs or be company in our house when she had that thing. I hated it. Since she got rid of that, no, it
I see whose side you're on. You're on his side, aren't you? How I roll says it's exactly what Joe says, a lack of education. So people just aren't stupid? No, I'm kidding. I know they're not stupid. There are a few stupid people, but most people are just trying to do their best. And yeah.
See, UK. See, this is a thing. Back to Brittany's comments about, like the States being better than Canada for disability and everything else. It's all like the grass is always greener. You know what I mean? You hear things. I work with a number of people from the UK, and we've grown up hearing about, free healthcare and prescriptions in the UK and this and that. And I've never lived there, so I can't speak to it myself. What I can say is that the people I've worked with have said, yeah, that's all, you pay a flat fee for your prescriptions and this and that. But they've also told me that the level of healthcare in Canada is far and away better than in the UK.
I do have to say
I'm not dissing the UK. I'm just trying to put in perspective there that you don't know until you've actually experienced things how to compare.
I do have to say our healthcare is. There are a lot of people that complain about Canadian healthcare, but I think it's just because they've always lived in Canada and they don't have a comparison. Yeah. I have never had bad healthcare. Like I have good doctors. I've honestly been treated so well, and I am terrified to move anywhere because of that, even if I wanted to.
What's your favorite outdoor activity?
Yeah, I saw that. What's my favorite outdoor activity? I'm trying to think of like outdoor activities. I don't know, like sitting around a campfire is pretty awesome, except for I'm that person that like smoke goes in my face every freaking time. I saw a meme like that where like it doesn't matter where you sit, the smoke is like going directly in your face.
She likes cross-country skiing.
Oh yeah.
She likes hand cycling.
There's lots of
anything that she can do with other people, I think, is more the part of it. She's a very social person.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like hand cycling. It's good exercise. It's fun. So there's lots of outdoor activities that I like to do in terms of like recreational sports kind of thing. Not sports, but recreational activities. But yeah. How many are there on this tonight? Currently, there are 73 people watching, which I'm still afraid every time I do a live that nobody's going to show up because I still feel like why would anybody want to watch me ramble for an hour?
Imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome. I don't know. You never really feel, I suppose that's how anybody feels. Like, why does anybody want to watch me? But I watch people ramble on about random things all the time. One of my favorite YouTubers just did a whole video about her being pregnant, and it was awesome. It was like 33 minutes just her talking into a camera, and I loved it. Thank you so much. I am starting to put way more voiceovers in my videos because somebody who is visually impaired said that it's helpful. So
So maybe you should read that out.
Oh, sorry.
Impaired. She might not know that you're posting.
Yeah. Okay. So Nikki, I was reading your comment, responding to your comment that says, "Just wanted to say you're awesome. Keep up the great work. I'm visually impaired, so I know what the struggle is like to have a disability. Keep striving for independence." I just made like the mistake just then of not actually voicing things. But I had somebody email me and say, "I love your vlogs, but I can't see what you're doing in the music montages. So can you please do voiceovers?" So I started doing more voiceovers for the music montage parts to describe what I'm doing. So I hope that helps people that are visually impaired. Yeah, I try. When you know better, you do better, right? Zoom sessions are so fun. Yeah. So I will, I'll think about how to do that in the works. I don't know how many you can have in a Zoom room and how it would run smoothly, but I definitely want to do some free, like, not challenges, but like support things where we can get together and maybe I'll pick a topic and people can join and we'll just talk about that. Like, oh, thank you for talking about your flexibility in previous video. Mentioning it took you 2 years to improve your flexibility. Yes. So I did not ever do stretches for like 10 years of my beginning of my injury. I did actually do it for when I was in school a little bit because my principal made me, which was really interesting. He made me do stretches. But after that, I just neglected it all through university, all the way until I think Jacob was like 4 maybe. And it took me so long to get my feet to be able to be like in a 90-degree angle. So don't give up. It just takes a really long time. I can't say for everybody that they're going to get their flexibility back because sometimes you unfortunately do change your bone structure and your joint flexibility. But I would keep at it and definitely go see a physiatrist or a physio that can give you a better idea of like what you might be able to achieve with your range of motion.
It was a workout for me when we first got together. I had to stretch her feet out. I would put her foot on my forearm and then I would have to hold her leg and I would have to pull it up and hold it for a minute. And I'd be like sweating after that. It was such a workout because her feet were fighting me so much.
I really like this comment. So James says a fear of bed sores keeps you from getting bed sores. So fear is sometimes a good thing. And I do agree with that because fear of pressure sores is actually the thing that keeps me religious about my skin. But I think that's a risk assessment. So I fear.
Fear is a necessary human.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Response.
It's a necessary human response. I just think that like if you use it in a good way, that if it's stopping you from doing something, like if the fear is stopping you from, traveling or doing something that would otherwise bring you like joy or good experiences in life, then you do a risk assessment. If the fear is keeping you healthy, then I think it's a good thing. What? It's 2:14 a.m. and you actually stayed up to watch this?
No, he probably stays up anyways and figured out all of it.
No, I'm special. He stayed up just for me.
Yep.
I'm telling myself that you stayed up just for me.
Gotta knock her down every once in a while.
Was that your son driving you all to the hockey? I was driving. It looked like he was because the camera I was using my phone and it reverses everything. So I was driving. Yeah. He doesn't have his learners yet, so he won't take his test again. I keep telling him to, and he's not. So, I'm trying to see if there's any more questions. You don't know who Tony Robbins is? How about Anthony Robbins? He's a giant guru.
Tony Robbins?
Self-help guru.
Oh yeah, he's in tons of movies and like, yeah.
His name is Anthony, though.
Yeah, but he goes by Tony.
Some people know him as Anthony.
Big tall guy, big white perfect teeth.
Well, Nikki Walsh, you're a teacher at a preschool and you have a YouTube channel. It's your first and last name, so I will put it up there. If anybody wants to look up Nikki's channel, go for it. How do you support somebody in the world to her if you're not in the wheelchair? What? I'm not sure what this is saying. Do you know what it's saying? I'm not sure what that's saying. If there's a typo or something, if you want to re-ask that question, Jake, I will answer it. What country are you in? Why are you going to try and find me? Just kidding. I'm in Canada. I don't know what it would be like to live anywhere else, but I really like Canada. We're really nice. People are really nice here, like too nice. Grocery store is full of, I'm sorry. Let me sneak by you. I'm sorry. Just a whole bunch of sorry people.
Do you think you're talented enough to try that one out?
So how do you explain to someone that thinks you're feeling sorry for them, but you have feelings for them? She likes me too, but I want to spend more time with her. By the way, I'm male, thank you.
No, it's Susan Myers.
Oh, how do you explain to someone that thinks you're feeling sorry for them? Okay, so they think you're feeling sorry for them?
Yeah, what aren't you understanding?
I don't know. Then you just say, I like you and I want to spend more time with you.
Transparent, open, honest, clear. That's what we were.
Yeah, I feel like I've never had a problem showing how I feel about somebody, even in a wheelchair. I've just been like,
How would you say in the other way around?
No, I know.
So have you ever had somebody who was able-bodied who was interested in you and you just figured, no, they just feel sorry for me? It's like pity type thing.
No. I sometimes have that thought. I've sometimes had that thought about whether people are nice to me because I'm in a wheelchair, but truthfully, no. I can't say that I've had that thought, that if somebody was like actually being nice to me, I didn't believe that they didn't find me attractive or something. I never had that. I was always just like, oh, cool. This person thinks I'm attractive, or this person wants to talk to me. I know. I have to be on manual exposure for this, so it has a hard time focusing on two faces. Because last time, remember, I had the square on my face, like auto, or not exposure, focus. Auto focus, it kept putting the little finger on my face. So I put it on manual focus on my camera, and it's making him blurry. So I apologize.
I don't mind being blurry anyway.
Yeah, smooths out the wrinkles. I'm trying to see if there's any more questions. Sorry, guys. I just don't want to miss anybody. Where am I from? I am from Central Alberta in Canada, near a city called Edmonton, which you've seen in other videos of mine if you've watched. Hey, Phil, what's up? You were at the talk. So was Ryan. Ryan, you're on here. You've commented many times. I've been reading your thing. You were on my talk about my trip to Montana. You guys are awesome. Our J sounds like as if you were clearing your throat. Should I try that? I just want to say, Jaman. I can't clear my throat and say J at the same time. You do it.
No, you can ask Ricardo how to say it.
No, I can't. Sorry, no. I am not going to try that. This is why I'm terrified to freaking learn a different language, because I would laugh at myself. Not even that I think other people would think I'm stupid. I would just try and say something and laugh at myself, and then nobody would be like, "What are you laughing about? It's not even funny." Like be asking if I can have like a piece of cheese or something, and I'm like laughing at myself because I sound like an idiot. Some of you have big thumbs like me, and then when you type, it doesn't make sense. You're just talking to each other now, which is great. Just joining.
Are you like that fast at reading, or are you like missing half?
I'm not missing half of them. I just don't want to be like.
So I'm slower. It's all good. It's okay.
But there, lots of them are talking to each other.
Yeah, I know.
So I just don't want to sit here like mindlessly, like, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to skim. That's your question, Joe.
For the San Jose Sharks. I haven't played hockey since I was a kid.
His dad used to take him to all the practices. James recommends retirement, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to see if I'm missing anything. Standing frame is a great way to stretch. That is one thing that I'm a little annoyed about when I was in the hospital. Not in the hospital. This was actually when I was 18 and I went back to outpatient rehab. The physiatrist that I had said to me, don't waste your time on things like a standing frame or FES, which is like functional electrical stimulation for your leg muscles. Like it's a bike that will work your muscles for you. He said not to worry about any of that stuff or waste my time on it because it was just going to take too much energy and money and all that stuff. And now I know that those things are actually important for a lot of things, because he was like, if you're standing in a standing frame for bone density, you would have to be standing in it for 6 hours a day in order for it to be effective. So don't bother. Well, your standing frame does a lot more than just improve bone density. It helps with range of motion. It helps with digestion because it gets you like the gravity for your digestion. It helps with circulation. It keeps your your circulation from like forgetting how to pump your blood back to your head. It does a whole bunch of stuff that is just really useful. And functional electrical stimulation for your legs keeps your legs like meaty and muscly, and so then you have more metabolic tissue and you can eat more without gaining weight. You have less fatty tissue. There's so many things and that I wish I had not listened to him about, but right now I just don't spend the money on that stuff. So
yeah, unfortunately, all these things that are great, that are good for you, are super expensive. Yeah, that comment.
Which one?
The one you were just hovering on.
Oh. Have you ever used a sliding board? Yes, I used to use a sliding board quite a bit to get in the shower. Actually, all the time.
You still use it at the trailer, don't you?
No. I used to use the sliding board to get in the shower, and I used to use it in the trailer to slide from the toilet to the tub because I have a really small bathroom in my trailer and it was spanned the whole distance. But now I just sort of like lift on the sink and like pivot my butt into the shower. And mostly I hated a shower chair because I always used it when I was like wet and my bare butt didn't slide. And so I was always afraid of like getting shearing
on the sliding board.
Pressure sores on the sliding board. And the last time I tried to use one, I got a freaking sliver and it.
Well, yeah. And then Jacob sanded and repolyed your board for you.
Jacob did that. And then I never used it after that just because it was only when the bathroom was getting renovated.
For the renos, yeah.
Yeah. Hi, I'm from Hawaii. I've been in a wheelchair for 23 years, but I've been learning new things since watching your channel. Just wanted to say hello and thank you for all that you do. I've been in a wheelchair for 23 years too. That's awesome. We're like twins. Twinsies. What month were you paralyzed? Maybe we were in the hospital at the same time. Except you were in much nicer weather.
And thank you for the shout out, for the kudos.
Are you saying thank you?
No, you should be saying that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the shout out. I appreciate that.
Are you required to take medication?
Oh, I am not required to take medication. Nobody in a wheelchair really is. We do take medication to help alleviate some symptoms of neurogenic bladder and other things that are caused by paralysis, spasticity. So I kind of have a beef with this because, and I was just talking about this today on one of the meetings I am in with people at the local rehab hospital, because it's so irritating that when you're in the hospital, they just automatically put you on all these drugs. They don't even like tell you that you might not need them. They just like put you on them. And I heard once that baclofen, which is one of the drugs that I'm on to stop spasticity in my legs, it was developed because it was easier for physiotherapists to work with people with spinal cord injuries if their legs weren't spasming. So it really had nothing to do with like a need. It was just a thing that was going to help people stretch them easier and all that stuff. So I don't think you're required to take medication. I take medication for my bladder so that it doesn't spasm all the time and I'm not peeing my pants constantly, because that would suck. So I take Toviaz, 4 milligrams once a day. So it's just like a slow release thing. And I've tried lots of different, oh my God, what are they called? Anticholinergics, which are like the things that help your bladder from spasming or stop your bladder from spasming. And almost all of them make you have dry mouth, but this one so far has been the best. And the reason that I actually changed to this one was because my dentist noticed that my gums were inflamed, and she said I didn't have enough saliva. And so she said I should change medication, and I tried one until I found one that didn't give me such bad dry mouth. And I actually have like spit in my mouth now. I thought I was drowning for like a month after I went off of oxybutynin, which is the one I was on before. And I like literally had no spit. It was crazy. So I'm on that, and I'm on baclofen, which I'm weaning off of slowly now to see if I can come completely off of it. So I'm down to 15 milligrams 3 times a day and 10 milligrams once a day. But I was taking 40 milligrams 4 times a day, which is crazy. So I am not required to, but I do. The other medication that a lot of people take with a spinal cord injury is nerve pain medication, which I don't take because they all have the side effect of depressing your respiratory rate. And a scary amount of people in the studies have passed away in their sleep from these medications if they're not dosed properly. So just make sure you talk to your doctor about those side effects if you are thinking of going on nerve pain medication. Banana boards, that's what a sliding board is called in other countries. Cool. Where are you from? I didn't see where you were from. I think you were UK. I think the other comments were saying UK. Yes. Tony in Florida here. I'm 42 years old, paralyzed now. I got a pressure sore 2 years ago. Got infected twice. Keep fearing the pressure sore. I've seen so many people that have gotten infected pressure sores and that got bone infections from it, that got sepsis from it. And I've actually had more people than I care to like count die from pressure sores, like friends in my community. So they are a big deal. So I'm very, very, very paranoid about my skin. Just answered this question. I take baclofen. And stupid camera. Is it going to come back on? There. I take baclofen and it helps with my spasms for sure. And I'm trying to wean off of it. And then my nerve pain gets really bad if I do it too fast. Yes, I do have the paid version of the Zoom, so we can have a Zoom thing with at least 100 people. Let's see. How much easier is a lightweight wheelchair to move than a standard wheelchair? Well, I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to when you say standard wheelchair, but a lightweight wheelchair, I would consider the one that I have. Generally, they're called high-performance wheelchairs, and they're usually under 10 pounds, the frame, and then the wheels are on top of that. You can get heavier wheelchairs for sure, like box wheelchairs are heavier. Brian, my friend Crazy Brian, has a box wheelchair, and his wheelchair is, I think, 40 pounds. It's really durable, but generally lightweight ones are a big deal. Like you're pushing around, you're propelling a whole bunch of weight if you aren't in a lightweight wheelchair, so it's harder on your shoulders, just everyday pushing. And then if you have to lift it anywhere, then it is a big deal. So I think, they're way easier, but it's probably hard to notice just if you're wheeling around in them, unless you're going uphill. But I think a lightweight one's easier. Two bladder control issues?
I think this is still relating to your medication. I'm assuming.
Oh, I think somebody was answering something there. Sorry. Do I ever have nerve pain? Yes, I have nerve pain. I have nerve pain right now. My legs are on fire. I have hypersensitivity in this arm. I have nerve pain around my lobe of injury, which is like, it's like sort of like being electrocuted. And then I have burning, tingling sensations in my legs. And it's not all the time, just happens to be right now that my legs are burning. What music do you and Joe like apart from country?
My playlist is the type you don't play at family reunions because it'll have like old-timey country, and bluegrass, and new country, and
then
90s rap, and 2020s rap, and everything you can think of on mine. I like it or I don't.
Yeah, I'm mostly a country person because I can sing to it, but I also like, anything with a melody. And there's some things that, even like rap songs that I would consider like pretty decent, but mostly country. And my kids like pop, so there's a lot of pop songs that I like now too, which I've always listened to pop. Like I listened to pop when I was a kid too, but country is definitely my favorite. Ooh. It's a good tip. Pillowcases are good on a banana or transfer board. That's a good tip. Yeah. Your accident was 2000. So we are I was the very end of 1999. So yeah, your accident was literally a month after mine. That's crazy.
Or 12.
What?
Or 12 months now.
No, he's been in a wheelchair for 23 years.
2000. Doesn't mean it. Oh, January of 2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like,
my bad.
I'm like, all of a sudden, January of 2000 can be 12
I
months
didn't see
after.
the January. I'm getting old, and I'm like not very close to the laptop here. My eyes aren't the greatest anymore.
Here's a shout out to the spouses. I would really be lost without Joe because I would never find my keys. That's legitimate. He put a thing in the front though, so I hang them up. But before that, it was legitimately his job to find my keys. And I'm the kind of person that will phone him at work when I've lost something and I think it's his fault. And I'll yell at him while he's at work. He's like, "Did you call me for that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And what are you going to do about it?
Not so much anymore.
I'm pretty bad still. I call you for the stupidest things. It's a good thing that you're allowed to answer your phone at work. I call him for such dumb things. I don't have anybody else to say dumb things to though, because I won't tell my parents things because they worry. I don't tell the world things because then not the world, but like I don't generally complain to a lot of people because then they think I'm annoying, and he is stuck with me. So you get it all. You married it.
I put a ring on
it. Exactly. I was probably more of a lunatic before we got married, though. You dealt with anxiety, all kinds of stuff before we got married. So you were fully aware. So this must have been enough to be like, all right, I'll still do that. Right?
Mm-hmm. See, it means that I'm a good influence on you. Look how much you've evolved and progressed.
Oh, he takes credit for everything. So he thinks that my anxiety is gone because he was an asshole.
Totally is.
No.
Oh, yeah. If I had enabled your anxiety this whole time, you would still be. You still would. Absolutely, you would.
Oh, my God.
You would.
It's okay. I take credit for everything he is, too.
Exactly.
Like, if he gets a promotion, I'm like, you're welcome.
Yep.
You're welcome that I married you. So.
And I agree with you. Don't I?
Well, you're probably right.
I'll give you the credit.
Okay, fine. Generally. Yeah. When you're out camping and in nature, do you use different tires for more rugged terrain? And if so, can you recommend which ones you would have worked for you? Sorry, no, I've never used different tires. I always just use my same old tires. But there is something that I had a giveaway for a long time ago that Panthera, which is now owned by Permobil, makes, and they are basically like you have to buy the tires first, like the actual ones that go in your what's the metal thing called? Rim, that actually go on your rim. And then there's another thing that goes on top. It's basically like it zippers on, and it's like a more sturdy tread. I cannot remember for the life of me.
It's like a tread that goes over your tire.
Yeah, it's like a tread. It's a tire tread that goes over your tire and becomes like a sturdier one. And I really was like, these are like shoes for your wheels. So go onto the Panthera website and look that up. I think it's quite expensive. Like I think the tires themselves are expensive, and then you have to buy the extra tread. But if you do go outside a lot, especially if it's muddy, it might actually be a really good solution. There's a place that makes, I think they're called mud slickers or something like that. It's called, oh, it's bugging me now. Why can't I remember this? They're like wheelchair covers essentially that have like a wheel cover that has a waterproof inside, so you can cover it over like dirty things. So if you do go outside, but that's not really like a different tread, just can go on the outside. Let me see.
Oh, hey, your favorite day is Friday.
Your accent was Friday the 13th? Well, lucky you. You're going to have an awesome rest of your life. That's probably why you survived. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. But it's a lucky date for me. I like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, you're only reading the comments. Why don't you, or the questions? Why don't you read some comments?
I am reading the comments. I'm only just putting the questions up, and I'm trying to skim through. So I apologize if I haven't read a comment yet. But I'll read this one. Why are you reading any of my comments? It seems like you're only reading the questions. We don't feel like you're a part of this. You're only reading the questions.
Oh, this isn't even for you. I think this is addressed to Jim. Is it?
He's just saying his name is Jim.
Oh, his name is Jim. Okay.
I apologize. I am reading the comments. I'm just reading them all quickly. And I am picking out questions just because I don't want to miss anybody's questions. But I apologize. I want to make everybody feel welcome. So I will try and do my best to read more of them. But how many comments are there now? There's a lot. Oh, somebody's saying, please tell me your name. My name is Brittany. I guess I haven't said that. And we're 90 in German. And my name before that was Dodds. Why don't you give a shout out to the charity associated with those go-karts hockey? It's called, oh yeah, that's a good reminder. So the go-kart hockey that I tried, it's like Volt hockey, it's power chair hockey, and I tried that on my last video. So if you haven't watched that video, you can go watch that video. And the charity that brought this sport to North America, I believe, because I actually went to the US website, and I think the children's charity exists in the US too. So it's Variety Children's Charity is the name of the charity. So if you want to go donate, I would totally appreciate it. Even like $1, $2, $5, anything that can help get that sport more mainstream, because it really is fun, but the chairs are expensive. And the nice thing that I like about this power chair hockey is that it can be played by anybody with any ability, really, as long as you can control a joystick. And there's many ways to adapt a joystick to make it usable for a quadriplegic or somebody that has, low hand dexterity or function. And it's also really fun for able-bodied people. So I really see this as a way to be an adaptive sport, just like every other adaptive sport. Lots of able-bodied people play in the adaptive sort of space. But I really see it as a way to make this kind of adaptive sport fun for younger people, because it's essentially a go-kart. I think it's really fun. So thank you for reminding me to give them a shout out. Have I ever played wheelchair tennis? I have not played wheelchair tennis. I had somebody come and ask me to play when I was in university, but I just don't know how do you move fast enough to play wheelchair tennis. But yeah, never have.
Yeah, you have tire socks.
Tire socks. Ryan saying, are they tire socks? I do have tire socks. The ones that I was talking about are a little bit different. They're tire socks essentially, but they have an inside that's like a like a cloth diaper that has the inside that the stuff doesn't come through. It was like that. It's for like muddier messes.
There you go. I like Dan's comment.
So kind of you to answer our how-to questions. You're courageous to put your life out there. It's very admirable. I hope we can find a way to swiftly get you to 20 million subs. That would be very cool if I had 20 million people watching this channel and 20 million people in wheelchairs that I could help, or 20 million people that are able-bodied that I could educate. That's education and inspiration and I don't know, support. That's I guess what I aim to provide on my channel. Good morning. Somebody just said good morning. Where are you joining from that it's good morning? Any big trips planned? I don't think so. Honestly, this summer is usually just camping. So I usually take a trip to see my cousin in Montana, but I don't know when that's going to be. So yeah, we'll see. I think that's it. Do I have a specific mattress to prevent pressure sores? No, I do not have a special mattress. So I just turn quite often in the night, and yeah, I just do that. But as I get older, my bones are bonier and they're more painful. So I might get a special mattress someday. Yeah, I don't know.
I think this is the longest I've seen you go without peeing.
This is a long time that I've gone without peeing, and I'm gonna have to pee really soon. But I ate my cupcake. I hope you guys had something that you could celebrate with me. And honestly, just from the bottom of my heart, this YouTube journey has been life-changing for me. Just in terms of my confidence in feeling like I have a purpose. You guys really have changed my life in so many ways. I'm not gonna cry. I just appreciate you taking the time to watch my channel, to think I have something to say, to be so kind to one another in the comments, to always be supportive, to call me out when I need calling out, just anything and everything. I'm so thankful for you guys for, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate reaching 20,000 subscribers than to spend 2 hours with you guys. Like, I literally have so much fun doing this. And if I could fill an arena with you guys and have a pajama party and learn every single one of your names and never forget to answer a comment and read all of your emails and thoughtfully answer, I try my very best to spend the time to do that, because engaging with you guys is my very favorite thing about having a YouTube channel and the reason that I keep doing it. I wish I could do it better. I wish I could do it more, but I do the best I can. And I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys have allowed in my life over the last 3 years. So I just appreciate you guys. And I am so glad that you spent 2 hours with me to celebrate this milestone. And I'm going to say goodnight. We will do this again. I promise I will find a way to do a Zoom thing. And you guys can hold me accountable now. I said it out loud. So in the near future, you will be seeing some sort of coaching from me that you guys can sign up for, and that I hope will be helpful to you. So have a good night, everybody.